I'm Diana Loderhose. I'm the International Features Editor here at Deadline. I'm here with our final session of our Red Sea studio here in Jeddah. So delighted it's you, Minnie Driver. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So we were just discussing, it's your first time here at the festival, but you've come here for a very specific reason.
Yes.
Can you tell us what that's about?
Yes. So I'm on the jury of the festival, but I also came to, I wanted to create a lab for female filmmakers, writers, actors, screenwriters, producers, with the central thesis being I've been doing this for 30 years. I've watched, and I've been in a lot of stuff. I've watched how things work on a set, how they don't work, and I felt like I could share that. And in a place where women are emerging, and they're emerging at a rate of knots, particularly as artists, I thought it would be a really good idea to create some sort of collective whereby we can start reading each other's work. We can offer up mentorship, but also creative conversations about story, narrative, the female gaze. What does the female gaze look like when it's looking at a bloke? What kind of stories do we want to tell? Are they Saudi stories, Arabic stories? Are they stories that now become more fluid, where we can all be part of each other's stories and perhaps, I don't know, change things like that? But I said to these amazing women that I'd set up, well, the labs helped me set up a Zoom before I came here, and we had this amazing meeting, and then I met in person with these incredible women yesterday. And I said, you are the bellwether. And they were like, what is the bellwether? And I was like, the bird at the front of a flock of birds. You're the ones you're the first ones. You're the leaders. You're creating this as you go along. And there's something incredibly magical about the beginning of anything, when everything is possible, when a lot, if not everything, has not been possible before. So I think support is really needed in those moments. And I'm so stoked that and I don't know what it's going to become. Like, we're making it. We're just going to keep building every year, and I'll pull people in to come and help and mentor and hopefully get things made, you know.
How does it work, though, when you're physically here? I mean, I know you've had other duties being on the jury, but in terms of with this lab, has it been like a one-day session, or is it kind of, I know
Well,
it's early.
I mean, it really is. It's early days. It's all been via Zoom up until now, and then we all met in person. I think we've got to name our WhatsApp group, most importantly. I think we're going to meet once a month, but we're also, we've got an open chain of communication to go, okay, what needs help? Who needs to talk to whom? And it's so funny I'm talking about this to Deadline. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be, but I do know that it will be interesting and amazing, and that these women deserve and require support from other women who've been a lot more privileged in terms of their access to art and cultural input.
Will you be kind of there? What kind of involvement will you have beyond sort of kind of connecting them? Will you help with?
I'll do whatever.
Okay.
I'll carry the camera. I'll load it. I'll push the dolly. I've made that really clear. Like, I don't really have any lines around what I won't do, because I think that's what half the problem is that we don't, when we say that we want to support each other, like, what does that look like? That might be listening to somebody be devastated over an idea that has been rejected. That might be helping to introduce to someone who can co-finance. That might be an executive producer role, because maybe my name somehow helps something. I don't know. I think I like the idea of unconditional support, because I think if you create boundaries within that and you say, no, I'm not able to do this in the moment, people should be able to ask you to do things. They should ask things of you, and you should be able to say, I can't do that, but I know someone who can.
Yeah.
Or I can do this instead. And I can't tell you the ideas that I've been trying to imagine what it's like to, if I had imaginative ideas that I didn't have anywhere to put them, that they rattled around inside of me, maybe for years, maybe my whole life, to suddenly have the opportunity to make those real, to make those manifest. How extraordinary, and how there's this wonder quality that these amazing women have. It's like beginner's mind. Whether it's short films or the scripts that they're writing, or films, movies, and I don't know. Well,
you're getting really emotional.
Because it's very difficult to affect change in our world, and lots of people say they want to, but the labs is supporting it, and the Red Sea Foundation is supporting that. So when you're underwritten by a place that you can go and a kind of infrastructure, and then they're like, okay, well, go see what you can make. That's a really good place to begin.
Definitely not going to be your only time here then.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I mean, I don't know. I got a busy year coming up,
You
but
sure
it might be a lot of Zooms. But
you sure do.
But it's good.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So you've had a couple projects that have been kind of out there and announced and had success at festivals. Let's talk about, we'll talk about the assessment first. What can you tell us about that film?
This movie stars Alicia Vikander and Lizzie Olsen and Himesh Patel, and I play a very small role in it, but it is pretty delicious. Kind of dystopian future where if you want to have a child, you have to be assessed, and the role of that assessor. And it is this amazing French filmmaker called Fleur Fortuné directed it, and I think it's always really interesting having women, really sort of interesting, amazing women spearheading projects. I mean, I've only ever really made movies with men for so long. It's always really dynamic. So that was cool. And then actually kind of the obverse, like a super male, but one of my favorite males in the whole world is Eddie Burns. I was in his movie that had an amazing reception at Toronto, which is called Millers in Marriage, and that was just, I've literally known him since the brothers McMullen. We're both as old as each other.
What did that feel like, kind of connecting again?
It's heaven. I mean, honestly, he is such a good person, and he is such his crew, they've all been making movies with him for like almost his whole career. Like, people are devoted to Ed because he's so great. He's very clear about the story that he wants to tell. It's always super cool having a writer who's a director, who's chill and doesn't mind if you change a word here or there, but has a very kind of clear vision of what the film is. So that was really fun.
So cool. So you also, was this the first time you played a monarch in The Serpent Queen?
Yeah,
So you had a guest appearance as Elizabeth I, and there's kind of been whispers around that there will be, that sadly was canceled, but there's been rumors that you were going to be starring in a spin-off where you will still be playing that role. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I feel like I either wrote it in a text to my boyfriend or to my sister when I was shooting The Serpent Queen and the supporting role of Queen Elizabeth, saying, I don't want this to end because I don't want to stop being her. And I must say, it's not just being Queen, which is fun, but she is something, that character, and I didn't want it to end. So when the conversation began around a potential spin-off, which, until someone's pointing a camera at me and shouting action, you're not really doing anything, but it is the most exciting, most fantastic idea and opportunity. It's what I want to do more than anything else. I think essentially because I see what the show is, as Justin Hayth, who wrote The Serpent Queen and would write Virgin Queen, he sees it. I know who she is, kind of, or my version of her.
Is there what stage is that at, or when do you think we might know a bit more on that?
I mean, I was hoping it would be before Christmas, but soon.
Okay.
It'll be soon. It will. Okay. It'll be soon either way. I'm just going to keep believing.
How do you approach that kind of iconic role? Because many people have played her before. How do you make it your own? Kind of what is the kind of research that goes back into that for you when you're preparing for such an iconic member of the monarchy?
Well, I have been kind of low-key obsessed with her my whole life, and I've read pretty much everything there is to read about her, looked at every painting. The show that we really want to make is about the woman behind the crown as well as the crown, and where that seeps out and who she was. And so there is an imagined version of who she is. So I don't know that you can't recreate what someone else has done, but women, think about women at that time. They weren't even allowed to own property. They weren't allowed to own anything.
Yeah.
Nothing, not so much as a hair comb. So for a woman to have been queen for as long as she was, and even though people were constantly trying to kill her, they didn't manage to, and she survived. And it was actually a peaceful time. How she did that.
It's incredible when you put it like that. It's completely incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it would be so fun to explore that as well. Like, who is the woman that is that queen? Because we know what the queen is. The clothes and the hair and the makeup describe an enormous amount of your performance. Like, I'm not going to lie and say that it's all coming internally. It's not. Like, you put those clothes on and you start looking at yourself with no eyebrows and no makeup, and you look so other.
Yeah.
She appears.
It's wild.
Yeah.
One final question for you. It sounds like you are very busy anyway, but is there anything else that we haven't touched on yet that you're kind of cooking in the background?
Yeah, there's a couple of amazing TV shows which I'm pretty sure I can't talk about because they haven't finished the deals, but I'm definitely going to be doing those in next year, which are delicious. And the great thing about now, which I'm sure someone told me, but no one was listening in the 90s, is that, I produce the things that the delicious things that I'm really at the forefront of. I'm a producer now on those things, which feels right and feels like you're in a more sort of like robustly connected way. You can have a voice in how those shows turn out, and they are the things that I produce are the things that I've chosen. And went, this is the horse that I'm backing. I'm not like a gun for hire, which I'll always be, because I'll do anything. Like, if it's funny and it's cool and it's good, I'm in. But like the things that I want to make myself, they're really delicious and they're really different. I mean, it's everything from like.
You're not doing the Peep Show. I read.
I wish. They did not pick that up.
What a shame.
I will never get over that heartbreak.
I mean,
let me tell you.
Oh.
We made an amazing show. We made an amazing show.
Well, there are stories of these things kind of not happening, going dormant, and resurfacing again.
You never
so
know.
you
And
never know.
sometimes it's timing. But I do know that Stephanie Robinson is a genius. I'll tell you that. She is one of the greatest people I've ever met. She's one of the greatest writers, best people. I mean, it was a joy making that show. I think once I'd stopped, because I did actually shed tears over that one, because it was so good. I don't mind if stuff doesn't get picked up. You're sort of like, it's probably kind of a good idea. It didn't turn out that well. When it's great, it hurts.
Yeah.
But with a bit of distance, what you realise is, my life isn't like, my life was the making of that show. My memories and the things that we made, that still stands. That still happened. Just because it didn't get commissioned and it's not going to be on TV didn't mean that part of our Jana and Stephanie and me and Amandla and all of the amazing people who made that show, we still made it. You can get thrown off balance by Hollywood thinking that the barometer for success is, I don't know. I mean, I guess getting picked up is a pretty solid barometer of success. However, I would still make it again, even if knowing, because it was so good and fun and interesting and difficult and weird. And I like a high degree of difficulty at this point, because I've been doing it a long time. Like, I like a challenge.
Thank you so much for
You're so
being
welcome.
here. So nice to meet you and chat with you.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.